Thank you very much. I'm absolutely nervous right now. but yeah, it's such a great event, amazing event. It's a pleasure to be here with a lot of amazing chefs from across Asia. Yesterday night, we have a great night cooking with Chef Don from Ladu and also LK from Lokapur, Indonesia. So today I'm gonna share a little bit of our story. Of course, is our story about Taiwan and how biodiversity is important to us, and a little story on how we approach our cooking and what we do. So who are we? Our restaurant is called Mume. It's a botanical name of plum blossom, which is the national flower of Taiwan. And it's three of us. The interesting part is actually none of us is from Taiwan. So I'm Hong Kong born and I'm raised in Canada. And one of our members is American and the other one is Australian. So I've been living in Taiwan for the last 4 years. And before we start, I want to talk just a very quick background of Taiwan. So we're in South China Sea with the neighbor of Philippines in the south, Japan in the north, and China in the west. As you can see from the map, Taiwan is a small island, but half of the island is mountains. With that said, it's a very small island with 394 kilometers length long. So literally, if you drive north to south, it will take you 5 hours. So it's a very small island. But Taiwan has 4 different climates. So it has tropical, subtropical, temperate, and frigid. So in terms of biodiversity, Taiwan is actually very unique, and it has a very high biodiversity. And that is actually one of the main reasons that why we choose Taiwan to be to have our restaurant. When we talk about biodiversity, we talk about ingredients, because as we are chefs, we work with ingredients, work with nature. In the case of Taiwan, it's very easy. When we talk about endemic products, it's anything that we can only see in the island, because Taiwan is an island. So anything that's only seen in an island, we call it endemic. Anything that is native, but maybe you can see in China, we call it indigenous. Some facts. In here, we mainly talk about plants. I'm not going to go into animals because mainly we're talking about insects and so on. But you can see there's a very high percentage of endemic plants in Taiwan. It's 25%. So it's, for such a small island, it's actually a very high percentage. Okay, so enough background. I guess I'm here to just make an introduction and talk about why, as a chef, we're standing here today and talk about biodiversity. I'm just a cook. I cook for a living. I'm not a scientist, and I don't own a farm. I don't work in agriculture. But why we're standing here talking about biodiversity? I think one of the main reasons is we want to take more responsibility. I want to share our story as a little restaurant like us, a 30 seats, small restaurant. What can we do, and what can we change, and what can we do to spread the message and to take more responsibility? I think for a restaurant, if you want to go all in to do local, I think it's good to have an aim for going 100%. Don't go like 50% or 70% or 90%. If you have an aim of doing 100% local, with an obvious fact of reducing carbon footprints, and because when you go 90%, a lot of time a lot of people that you work with, they will always try to find excuses to be in the 10%, and then so Um, in our restaurant, we try to source everything locally, and with the mindset of we want to cook with, responsibly, also to reduce food waste and to support the local community. And why is it important to us? I think, we, as a chef, we care about our environment. We work with nature. So we really wanted to do is we wanted to spread the message to our diners. When we choose the ingredients, we want to work with trust suppliers who practice sustainable farming, and we want to get to know them to build a relationship. And also, I want to talk about indigenous people in Taiwan is a big part of our country, and it's a very interesting part of our country. There's a 16 group of indigenous people, and they've been living in Taiwan since approximately 5,000 years. So they're the one who is originally living in the island. And if we want to go deeper into indigenous produce, we have to study and we have to talk about the indigenous people in Taiwan. And for us, we've been working with indigenous community. So they do foraging and they have support us along the way. One of the example is we have, and I use it in the dinner last night. They have a unique culture of foraging, also a lot of because of the purpose of medicinal, and they use wild plants and they eat it because of the history of indigenous people. One of the ingredients that we use widely and most common, and one of our favorite ingredients in our restaurant is a wild pepper. So it's a wild pepper that is used to be a seasoning that they use for the indigenous people, and then it's citrusy, it's lemony, it smells like ginger, it's very aromatic. So we use it in a lot of different ways extensively. We use it to infuse in the oil, we use it in making cocktails, we pickle them, we dehydrate them, we grind them, we use it to seasoning, marinate, we use it for cocktails, dessert. This is just an example of one single ingredient that we discover with indigenous community, and then so it opens up a whole new libraries of flavors that we can play with. And this is also one of the reasons that we want to work with indigenous ingredients, because it creates new flavors, new discoveries, and also to support a more diverse cropping agriculture system. And this is the World Vegetable Centers. And they're found in 1971, and their headquarters is in Taiwan. So what we do, we have a future project that we are going to work with the World Vegetable Centers. They are one of the biggest institutions and one of the biggest libraries of seeds. They have the largest collections of seeds in Asia. And one of their aim is to promote the indigenous vegetables, and because of diversifying cropping system. And with that, we are working with them to introduce a wider range of indigenous vegetables, and we are playing around and see the possibility of incorporating into our cuisine. And if the possibilities are there. One of their strengths is also to support farmers, to help them to grow this specific type of indigenous vegetables, and with the aim of introducing these new categories of vegetables to the general public. And as a chef, we are part of the supply chain that at the end we are the one who is cooking for the guests, and we hope to try our best and to support this program. And with that said, we're still a very young, independent-owned restaurant. We don't have a lot of resources, and we are very young. We're still 3 years up the run. And so this is just to share and open up the dialogue and to see even a small little restaurant like us, if you're willing to take more responsibilities, there's always ways to do it and to spread across the message to all the diners and hopefully to create a more sustainable environment. And that's my presentation of today.